going during that process, especially when times got hard. But once you got to the airline, it starts getting easier, and then you start making a little more money. Yes, sir.
Hey, thanks for sharing your testimony. But can you touch on the people before you that actually kind of mentor you? And also, are you doing that for young kids, giving them opportunity to get that discovery and that exposure?
Yes, sir. Really, the Tuskegee Airmen were some of the best pilots ever. And out of all the Tuskegee Airmen that flew to protect the bombers, did you know none of them got airline jobs? Not one. But all of their peers and counterparts had an opportunity to continue their aviation career. Look it up. Look up Colonel William Jefferson, one of the best pilots I've ever met. He had to go teach school. All the Tuskegee Airmen, they all went into banking. They went into something else. They had to stop flying. So I always stand on their shoulders because they were the first to do it. And they never got the opportunity. And then in the late 70s, early 80s, the first black pilots had to sue to get jobs. Marlon Green was the first pilot to get hired for Continental Airlines. He sent his resume in. He was a military pilot. He sent his resume in, didn't put his picture on there. And so they hired him. But then when he walked in, it was like, oh, wait a minute. We don't hire your kind around here. So he had to sue. And then not only did he have to sue, but when you're the first black of anything, you caught it. And I heard the stories. And it wasn't good for them. It wasn't. But they paved the way for us to where we didn't have to face the same type of adversity. Still the same person, but different type of adversity. So those are the ones that came before us, and we make it easier. Yeah, my son, he's flying now, and he just got 2 offers. 2 offers to go to. I'm like, that's crazy. I'm like, man, sound like an old man, like, son, back in my day, we had to do such and thus, and such and such and such. But now, just inside the airlines, we got check airmen that look like us. We got sim instructors that look like us. So when you go through training, you know if you messed up, there's a mentoring going on. Who mentored them? The level of excellence was above and beyond for them. And it's still the same standard for us. But there wasn't a community that they can talk to. You can pick up the phone, it's like, man, what's going on? You ever flown with such and such? Like, yeah, hey, how'd you deal with this? Now there's even a Sisters of the Skies for black women. So they can talk amongst themselves. So as we keep going and keep going forward, it gets easier. But you still got to put the work in. Any other questions? Oh, one more. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to ask about the helicopter crash you said you had, and the perseverance you had to have after you had to go through whatever crash you went through.
So May 28, 2004. Not that I remember the date. So we crashed, and we crashed because I was joyriding. I wasn't even supposed to be there. When he said, hey, you want to go ride? I'm like, yeah, I should. So he was out there doing whatever he's doing, and so we crashed. So it was May 28th. So then from then, I wasn't going to fly again. So that was the adversity. That's about it. Yes, sir. That's about it. But that was a big one, though, because I didn't have the opportunity to get back up and go fly again. So from May 28th to about August 14th, not that I remember the dates, that was the next time I actually flew an airplane. So I had to work through that all through May. I actually went to go see a psychiatrist. Because I was going to quit. But I didn't. Good thing. Well, I think that's my time. I think that went longer than 10 minutes. You didn't ask a question. No, yeah, you. Yeah, you. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Well, let's give it up for our brother Captain Donald. Thank you for sharing some time and some inspiration with the next generation. For those of you who are listening, we had some technical difficulties. The lights kind of flashed off and on, and so they're still working on making certain that the sound and the video is up to par on YouTube and Facebook. So please hang with us. I hope you can hear me. Please hang with us. But again, if you did not take anything from Brother Donald's presentation, number one, you got to have a destination. You got to know what you want to do with your life. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it like this. He said, whatever it is that you love to do or that you can do very, very easily, That may very well be what you were born to do. So I want every last one of you to write down 3 things that you are either good at or that you do very well. And choose one of those 3 things to make that your goal, your focus. The same way that brother focused on flying until he had a career that took him 30,000 feet into the air, there's nothing that you imagine that you can do in your mind that you can't do if you use the same principles that Brother Donald used to get where he's gotten. Again, give Brother Donald another round of applause. My man. Now we're going to bring up our next presenter. Again, I hope the audio and the video is back up on social media. Some of you know him. If not, you should get to know him. He is a part of a program, or the founder of the program called Scared Straight. But he's also a founder of the program called Operation Outreach. He is fondly known to our community as OG1. He's one of the many, or one of the ones that we look to help resolve disputes in our community and to help to inspire our brothers and sisters to do something productive with your life and stay away from that penitentiary. Give it up for Brother OG1.
First of all, thank you, Brother Derek. Before I get started here, I just want to say, we are privileged today because we're not in a room with one black pilot. We're in a room with 2 black pilots. That's rare in this country. We got 2 black airplane pilots in the room here with us today. So I just want to let y'all know that we are blessed in the city of Houston. But before I get started on anything, I have to give thanks to my mother. Because we got to say that even today, as I do the work that I do, 70% of the women that I deal with in their boys are the ones fighting on the front line for our young men. They're going to the jails. They're sending them money. They're standing by them when sometimes they don't need to stand by them. Because if it wasn't for my mother, I know I'd still be in jail, I'll be dead. And I have to say that. I do this kind of work because at the age of 16, I still can't understand how a county that I love, Harris County, how a city that I love can sentence me at 16 years old to 200 years in prison on $246. And nobody had no shame, no embarrassment as they sentenced me. Count 50 years, count 1, 50 years, count 2, 50 years, count 3, 50 years, count 4 to be sentenced to TDC. And all I can remember, the last thing I can remember before I got dark was the bailiff coming to handcuff me in front of my family with these things here called things that we have made familiar in our lives. And I'm going to start by saying this here. If you look around, it's probably all the soldiers we need to fight the war right here in Houston. But I'm going to say this here. Brother Derek started this thing off by talking about crash dummies. The crash dummies. And I'm trying to rethink that message because out of 2 million people in the city in Harris County, only a few of them controlling the whole city. The good people don't let the bad people take over. We're afraid to even look at the sidecar that we drive. When we drive down the street, I hear men saying, don't look at the car next to you. Fear. Even in the treatment center that I work at, my phone burns up because mothers and their young men that's dealing with this pain, that's dealing with this fear, because they see their parents in fear, the young men, how they self-medicate themselves. 80% of the young men that I deal with what you call this so-called marijuana movement to ease their pain. this to bring it back to me. Most young men dealing with a one-parent household, we must say that my mother gave me everything that she thought I would need to try to survive. It was very few strong men around me in my life. So when my mother gave me the advice and she went to work, I had to leave the house and go amongst young men that was conditioned to have a macho, masculine energy of how to establish themselves in a world that's so afraid if you don't have the skills to know how to fit in. So we still have a bunch of young men and grown men running around here with this mask on their face. I'm not talking about the mask to stop you from breathing. I'm talking about this mask of fakeness. So we walk around here pretending. And I'm talking about myself because that's who I was, trying to fit into a world that was rejecting me. Being cool, I'm hard. You can't tell me what to do. Well, I'm telling grown folks this here. Why you mean mugging me, dog? Big mouth with a small heart because I still had the passion about what my mother gave to me. But when I got to the street, I had to pretend to be something else. And it's a lot of black men running around out here right now. They pretending. Because we don't know how to deal with our own personal pain. That's why we're in the condition we're in now, that you can't even go in the neighborhoods. Your children can't even play no more because the men have stepped back. Like Maud said, when we become quiet about things that matter, our life begins to end. And I say, well, another leader of mine made a statement years ago, and he wrote a book about it, and we are at that point now. Justifiable homicide. People are shooting first and talking later. I went to prison, and I don't like to talk. You know, that prison lifestyle, it's almost like it's a big thing in our community. Like every other brother you run into, we got this X on our back. And we get a lot of us brothers get out of here. We go back to our communities to get the support of our community, and we do not get the support of our community. But we stay on the front line and keep on fighting. But we understand, and I'm gonna bring you back to right now. Do anybody know this brother by the name of Fred Harris? I'm gonna start there. Anybody know the brother Fred Harris? Anybody in the room know the young man here in Houston by the name of Fred Harris? Do you know the brother Fred Harris? You ain't never heard of him, have you? Well, Fred Harris was a young man that I worked with at the treatment center. He was 19 years old. He was kind of mentally off. And he ended up in the Harris County Jail. This is just about a month, 2 months ago. Oh, now you remember, huh? And he went into Harris County Jail with what you call trying to fit in with a group of people that were straight up killers. And this 19-year-old young man that was trying to fit into a lifestyle. And they put him in a cell with a person that pulled one of these out. You know what this is, brother? You ever seen one of those? Right here with the white. You know what that is? Huh? You know what this is? Huh? Listen to me. Do you know what that is? Do you know what they do with this in jail? Huh? This is what they did with that young 19-year-old right here in Houston. When he was running his mouth, they smashed his head on the ground till he was unconscious, and he stabbed him with, you see this here, brother? How do you carry this around in jail? You been there? Huh? How do you carry this kind of stuff? He stabbed the young brother numerous times in jail with this here, right here in Harris County. But a lot of y'all rap artists will tell you, like these brothers here, a lot of the rap artists tell you, with the handcuffs, they tell you it's all right to go to jail. You got to get your X on your back. Am I right? You ever heard of him? His mother went down there when she found out he was in jail, and she begged them people, please don't put him in the cell. He got to be by himself. And the next week she went down there to pick his body up. Two of the things that have become important in our community. Two money makers. Two of the most important money. You know what they is? You know what this is, brother? Huh? Do you know what this is? What is it? A jumpsuit, huh? A jumpsuit for who? Brother, do you know what this is? Do you look good wearing this kind of stuff, I'm asking? What about you, right there? Do you know what this is? We got to ask questions, because sometimes I think we don't understand. These people are finna fill the jails back up. And the ones that they can't fill, they're going to kill on the street. You know what this is, brother? You know what this is? Excuse me? Body bag. Money maker. You know, I wonder why they got it black. Why they don't have it green or yellow or something? See, we're living in a serious time with signs and symbols we have to take in. And the only thing I'm bringing to you young brothers today, you don't have to listen to me. You don't have to hear a word I have to say. Because if you don't hear me today, you will hear it in the backseat of that police car. You know what'll come to your mind sitting in the backseat of that police car? When you're strapped in the back, you know what'll come to your mind when you got this stuff wrapped around you in the backseat of that police car? You know what's going to pop in your mind? Damn, OG1 told me. They sent me to a unit after they gave me that 200 years. They sent all young people to a unit. They got 2 units for young people. They got the Clemens unit and they got Ferguson unit. And they put you on the units with all these boys your same age. And as soon as you get in there, it's called fight all day, eat ice cream, and have sex all night. Ain't no men. I mean, in a men's prison. So you get in this unit where you might think you can throw them things. You throw them things? You got hands? Okay, I see you shaking your head. You got hands. You got hands? How many of y'all think you got hands? Right here with the white shirt on. You got hands? Huh? What that mean? I can't understand that. Talk to me. You don't know if you got hands? They send you to 2 units, Ferguson and Clemens. You're going to get in there, and your own people are going to be the ones set you up to try you. You know what I mean by being tried, huh? What I mean when I say they're going to try you. What are they going to do to you? How they try you? Your own homeboys out of your hood. What they going to do? What are your homeboys going to do to try you, player? Huh? Okay. You behind. You know what they're going to do in prison when you get there? Playboy, you don't know what they do? Huh? How they test you? How they going to test you? Huh? Who said that? How they going to test you, player? Huh? They're gonna first walk up to you and say, boy, you so cute. How do you respond to that? How do you respond when another man walk up to you, look you in your eyes and say, you so cute, and grab a handful of your behind? See, we got to talk real to y'all because you don't understand till you get there. And when you get there, it's too late. What do you do when a man look in your eyes, tell you you cute, and grab a handful of your behind? Too late to think now? See, these are the things we don't think about before we get there, but we caught up in this corruption. Then when we get there, we end up like little young Fred Harris in a cell with somebody that's a straight up killer. Due to me having what you call an attitude problem. When I made it to Ferguson, you know what the attitude problem is? A rage problem. When somebody piss you off or get you mad. You know what I'm talking about, a rage problem? You get so mad you don't want to hear it. I don't care no more. You can call the law. You always messing with me. Is that you? Huh? Come on, just keep it real, baby. Want to kick the wall and throw it. You always mess with it. I don't care. Call the laws. That's me. I got a rage problem. Don't want nobody to tell me nothing. And that same thing got all my teeth kicked out. Caught me slipping. I always want to kick your mind back when somebody say something to you. Don't want to listen to nobody. End up in solitary confinement because I had an attitude problem, didn't want to follow rules, didn't want to follow orders, just like a lot of times out here right now. Young men don't want to follow rules, don't want to be disciplined, don't want nobody to say nothing to you. They locked me up in a cell big as your closet for 4 years. In Ferguson, they had it up underground. Have your daddy put you in the closet for 4 years, slide all your food up under your door? Hey, player. Hey. How would you feel your mama put you in the closet, lock it, put a big chain around it, and lock it, and just slide all your food up onto the floor? Let you out 1 hour a day to go play a little basketball? So we're talking about the new slavery that 90% of in there is black and brown men. And you very seldom come out with a mindset to do something better for yourself. It's designed to capture your mind, to keep you rotating, going back and forth, back and forth. That's why a lot of these brothers get out here right now, they don't mind going back in that land up. Because you know why they don't go back that land up? They left a man in there. If you catch the drift. You know what I mean when I say they left a man in there. I see you shake your head back there, player, huh? They wrote their name on the wall, and their man tell them to go out there, hustle a little money, put it on my book, and come back. Go do a robbery or something, come on back. We love you. I'm saying all this stuff because somehow in the black male's mind, we study trying to kick the door in and get into jail. When I'm studying trying to educate you that there, you love women, you like girls. Player, you like them girls? Yeah, they got him smiling back there. I see you like them too. Right here, don't look back. Player, you like them girls? Right here, with the white jacket on. I'm talking you smiling and looking good. You saying you like them girls? Huh? You like, well, you better stay out that jail, player. Ain't none in there. You know what I'm saying? It took me a whole change of attitude. Being stabbed in the back, teeth kicked out, 4 years up underground in solitary confinement, for me to get in my bunk, take heed of what people had been telling me. Almost dead before I had to wake up and start re-looking at my life to go a different way. And all I'm telling y'all right now, you don't have to go through the pain. All you got to do is pick the phone up, call Brother Derry. Pick the phone up, call OG1. Call brothers that you know that's around that can give you the skills and the information you need to deal with this kind of population. Because again, I'm going to tell you something. You like that weed? Keep it real. When I was young, OG1, weed head. You like that weed? I see you shaking it, baby. Hey, you smoke some? Have you tested it yet? Have you tested it yet? Don't look around like my mama here. I know it. Player, have you tested? Have you hit it yet? Player, if you go home and look at the news tonight. On the bottom line, they got a line run. They said they busted a man with enough fentanyl. You know what that is? What is fentanyl? Huh? You know what fentanyl is? Huh? Do you know what it is? Huh? Talk to me. You know what it is? Do you know what it is, player? You know what fentanyl is? What is it? It's an overdose. Yeah, overdose off of it. Just a little bit. It's So they sprinkle it in your weed. You don't know what you're smoking. You smoke good weed, don't you? He laughing. Hey, look here. If you see what's happening, they say suicide is on the rise in the black community amongst black men. Suicide have risen up to the top. A lot of times this suicide is called suicide by cop. And I'm going to explain this and get off the floor. I'm a recovery coach, and I go through a lot of training because I want to understand what's happening to the black male and the mindset. And when I do the study to understand what's happening to black males, I am suffering from what you call generational trauma, transgenerational trauma. That's what the white people tell me, follow the science. Now, I'm telling you what they told me, follow the science. So I'm following the science. They say I'm suffering from transgenerational trauma. I'm suffering from the pain of my great-grandfather. It's in my DNA. And I know DNA is powerful. If they let a black man off a death row that they say raped a white girl and DNA got him off death row, something good about that DNA is working. So DNA tells me that if I'm suffering from what my great-grandfather was going through and never dealt with, and my trauma in my brains is always running on fight, flight, or survival. If you remember, if you look it up, it's a young brother in Colorado. Kid had never been in trouble. This is what we got dealing with. The young man, 19, never been in trouble. The police pulled up on him, and he panicked. He was scared because he didn't want to get in trouble. And in the back of his brain, because he wasn't thinking with reasons, what he did was traumatized and got scared, and what he did, broke and run. Is that the right thing to do, player? Even if you're scared, do you break and run? Huh? Young people, take it from me. Live to see another day. Live to see another day. We can't even afford to have our babies playing with this stuff. This is in the time we living in, with the governor we have that say every traumatized brother can have a gun. Parents, we have to be very cautious. And I'm going to say this here before I get off the floor. We as elders, when our roots begin to rot, as an African proverb, when the roots begin to rot, we send death to the branches of the tree. So if you're looking at your life and you sit back doing nothing, saying nothing, and I'm not going to get involved, when the root of the trees begins to rot, you're sending death to the branches of the tree. And the branches got to be our children. Because they dying and we can't do nothing about it. We're sad, we're crying. 11-year-olds getting shot down for going to the mom. Can't even send your kid to the car no more. And we sit around here and we so froze. That's why the room ain't full. Everybody's numb now to death. That's why the room ain't full. We become numb to death. We become numb to even our 11-year-olds getting shot down and nobody, oh well, because it happens the next day and the next day and the next day. All we say is smoke a joint and make it all right. And even the people that's selling the weed now, they're making billions of dollars while they still put black and brown people in prison. We got to wake up. Oh, it's gonna be all over. You know what I'm talking about? It's gonna be like that statue that brother had in that poster. This is what's gonna be a statue in Herman Park. They're gonna have statues of black men. We're gonna be on a statue, and people gonna walk by the statue in the park, and people gonna say, "No, them people used to be here. They used to be a part. They did hip hop. They sang. They danced real good. They eventually faded away. It used to be millions of people on the land we're standing on right now called Native American people. Read it. It's history, black history, but still read about Native American people. You know what I'm saying? Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all, but we at war. We have to educate our young men. Appreciate you mothers, you fathers for getting your babies out here, because they have to understand when they go out there in them streets, when they go out on the streets, everybody is paralyzed and everybody is kind of shoot first, speak later. Take care of yourself, wake up, keep the vision. Tough time never lasts, tough people do. Thank you, Doc.
Come on, brothers and sisters. Don't be stingy. You can do better than that. Give it up for Brother OG1. You'd be hard-pressed to find a brother that speaks with that much passion. As we begin to wrap up our afternoon, first of all, give yourselves a round of applause for coming out. Thank you so much for being here. The world is sort of, quote-unquote, opening back up, and we want to thank Pastor E.A. Deckard and the Greenhouse International Church for allowing us to use this big facility. I want to emphasize the reason and the focus for why we're doing what we're doing. We're sharing our stories of what we've been through, and thank God we don't look like what we've been through. We're sharing our stories so that those who are coming behind us, it's not that they're not going to struggle. Struggle is ordained, so says the Holy Quran. But Minister Farrakhan teaches us that it's not that your children are not going to struggle. We just don't want them struggling with the same thing we've been struggling with for the past 30, 40 years. So we want to give them tools that they might struggle and overcome at the next level. That is why we're here. So again, we want to focus on the concept of history makers. I want every last one of you listening to ask yourself the question, what is it? What can I do to make history? Okay? Every last one of you got some history up in you. The question is, will you develop it? What are you going to do with it? Come here, Brother Kai. I want y'all to meet one of my mentees. He's been with the Black Male Summit program for many years now. He started off as my mentee when he was maybe this tall. Now he's taller than me. And we have a tradition in my family. Whenever you get to the point to where you're taller than me, that means you got to box me. But that's when I was younger, you know. So he ain't got to worry about boxing me, but I do want him to surpass me and be smarter than me and be more intelligent than me, be more successful than me. It's all about making them better than us. So I want to ask him a question. This is just impromptu. This was not planned. Kai, turn around so people can see the back of your hoodie, right? What does that say? History makers. That's what we're trying to produce with our efforts, Captain Donald. People who make history. Now, he has many gifts. He's got many talents. He's a young golfer who competes in tournaments and things of that nature. But Kyle, tell the people what it is that you plan to do to make history.
Again, my name is Kyle Wilson. 16. My birthday was just 2 days ago. Now I'm playing for my high school golf team. I learned the game since I was 2 years old, and being raised by like a healthy family, and now learning from him and a lot of other people that of all this negativity in the black mind, and like any culture's mind, but especially the black mind, how everything is just filled with negative thoughts, and then you somehow laying on the floor with your brains out dead. Like I'd rather die at the grand age of 100 in a deathbed, except for just getting into stuff, and then there's like bullets on my chest, and I'm done. Of course, being raised by like both my mom and my dad, they were split. I didn't really care about it, but I learned the game of golf because of my father. And after, I think this is everybody, after what my mom and my dad did to me for like 16 years now, my main goal is trying to make it to the PGA Tour, like I'm Tiger or like I'm Harold. And even though like at this point I haven't been practicing lately, but I'm still, this is my goal. It feels like there's no plan B, even though I can make one, but like this is my actual dream. I'm just trying to give back all the money that they have spent, like every single quarter and cent. Seriously. Matter of fact, what's your name? Huh, Chase? All right, what's your future? Or are you still deciding? Still deciding? Well, let me tell you one thing, bro. Is that your dad? That's your uncle? Your uncle cares about you, bro. Your uncle literally cares about you. Some people don't have people who care about them at all, not even their parents. Okay? Now, if a person cares about you, you now have a task, and that task is to give back. Like say you wanted to make it to the NBA, you got to work harder. You're trying to like get any opportunity you can. You can't you can't go around hanging with all these dudes who doesn't even have the same thing as you, or like try to get with 10 girls, bro. 10 girls. Now, how old are you? 15. Shoot. Yeah, exactly. I'm just joking. Yeah, I'm about to finish up. But yeah, like you're 15. I'm surprised. I thought you was older than me. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think like you just gotta focus on your future and your life, and want to like live longer than being ended up short, down in hell with the same dudes that you know that will get you messed up. Okay? So again, it's giving back, not dying down.
All right. Thank you, Kai. Let's give Kai a round of applause. Beautiful message, youngster. Yes. Young history maker. So we're about to close out our program, and I want you all to please give a round of applause to my brother from another mother. I can't say enough about Pastor E.A. Deckard. Where we're sitting is not just a church. Where we're sitting is a house of major resource for this Greens Point community. 7 days a week, people can come here and receive the help that they need in real life and in real time. Food distributions, school supply distributions. He's paying folks rent half the time, paying their light bills, and it's any need that you can think of that a family might need, they usually are able to come to Greenhouse International Church and have that need suffice. But most importantly, our brother feeds our people spiritually and feeds the community spiritually on a big, big level. And please join me in bringing up the pastor of this house and my dear brother, Brother Pastor E.A. Deckard. Let's give him a round of applause.
Let's all stand where we are and give God a great big hand for the gift of Brother Derek Muhammad. Come on, everybody stand on your feet. Everybody stand on your feet and give God a great big round of applause for letting us live in the same generation as Brother Derek Muhammad. Brother Derek, we love you. We thank you so much for all you do for the community. We would not be here without the vision that God gave you. So again, one more. Give it up to Brother Derek Muhammad. We thank you so much. Thanks. So I'm not going to be very long. Don't get nervous. But we're going to treat this like we do our Tuesday night Bible study. I want to make sure that we leave here with, I heard the word tools used. So we will, I'm good. The word tools used, so we will operate and give him some tools. Reno, I got some lyrics for you real quick. Now, I ran this by all the young people at the church to make sure it wasn't corny. How is young black America supposed to breathe when they're killing all our young kings? Every night in H-Town, a different murder scene. Kings dying before fulfilling their dreams. Take your seat. So I want to talk from that reference point real quickly. I was watching this sitcom one time called Scandal. And Scandal had become the #1 sitcom on TV, and I was watching this show, and there was a young black brother on there. And this scene, they looked at him and said, "You're young, black, and gifted." And within seconds, they killed him off the show. They called him young, black, and gifted. And then, boom, they killed him off the show. I wonder how many young, black, gifted men, young, black, gifted kings, before they got a chance to fulfill their dreams and live their dreams, were killed off the scene. Yes, we know Trayvon Martin. We know how he died. We know he loved to wear a hoodie and Skittles. But how many unnamed situations? How many young men never got a chance to reach 16 with golf clubs in their hand? They had a dream, they had a vision, they had ambition, but yet they were wiped out by someone that looked like them. Watch this. The enemy is at work, and the enemy has a plan. And I want to expose real quickly the plan of the enemy, and then we're going to take a covenant together as we get ready to leave this place. Number one, the enemy wants to separate you. See, if I can keep us divided, there's strength in numbers. I thank God so much for my collaboration with my brother, Derek Muhammad. We grew up in the same neighborhood with a chain link fence separating us, and we never interacted growing up because I was busy doing my thing and he was busy doing his thing. And one day we met on a crime scene, and we realized we were soul brothers. And if you want to go to battle, we do what's called the no more bloodshed. We're men of peace. But if you want to go to war, you attack him, and I'll meet you on the battlefield. Because there's power in numbers. What the devil does is separate us: good-haired Negro, bad-haired Negro, light-skinned, dark-skinned, educated. See, if he keeps us divided, we'll never understand. He's a Muslim, I'm a Christian, but he's my brother, and I'm his brother. Let's stop letting division stop us from being powerful. The enemy uses the tool of division, separation. So he wants to separate us so we cannot come together in strength and power. Separation. Separation from your family. I'm grown. I don't need my mom. I don't need my dad. I'm grown. Well, as soon as you're grown, but get out that door, you realize how weak you were. But now the enemy has you right where he wants you, all by yourself. Separation. Number two, he wants to surround you with negative thoughts, negative ideas, negative concepts. He wants to fill your mind up with negativity. He wants to surround you with negative images about you. He wants you walking around thinking in your mind your life has no value, thinking you're worthless, thinking you are a beast. It's amazing how we adapt these certain sayings in the sports arena. I make a touchdown or make a tackle. I'm a beast, not realizing every word has an identity and a purpose. When you call yourself a beast, you got to start acting like a beast. And when you act like a beast, like OG1 told us, when you act like a beast, you end up locked up like a beast. And most of us not prepared to handle the consequences of being a beast. But he will surround us with negative thoughts. In the music, in the movies, everywhere you go, the enemy has put a negative image of a black man or a black boy in front of you to make you mold into that image. Number three, steal your mind. I'm a little older than most of you, and there was this commercial come on from a mind is a terrible thing to waste. So today, the enemy wants to steal your mind by polluting your mind with drugs, alcohol, and misguidance. Because so as the man thinketh, so is he. If you're thinking negative, if you're thinking beastly, if you're thinking that you are a dog, you're going to act like a dog, and not a dog as far we want a dog on a football field, a dog on a basketball court, but don't act like a dog with no responsibility. The devil wants to steal your mind. Take back your mind. Your life has value. You are somebody special. You are gifted. You are talented. Stop allowing the devil to steal your mind. I don't care if your daddy is there or not there. I don't care who's raising you. Your mind has the ability to take you to the airways. Your mind has the ability to take you far than you've ever thought before. If you're the first one, be the first one. I love when a pilot was talking. He didn't know a pilot. He had never seen a pilot, but in his mind said, you are a pilot, and he made decisions like a pilot made decisions. Make sure your decisions, because your decisions will determine your destination. Your choices determine your consequences. Let your mind be the birthing place of your dreams. Take your mind back. And then he wants to stick you in the system. To stick you in the system. Because once you're in the system, now you have a tag. Once you're in the system, now opportunities are closed in your face. Once you're in the system, now they can manipulate your future, control your future, and break you. They want to stick you in the system. From the schoolyard to the prison yard, they want to stick you in the system. So they keep promoting violence. They keep promoting nonsense to get you caught up and hooked up so you go do something foolish. Now you have a SPIN number. You have an ID. Now you are locked up away from your support system to stick you in the system. It does not make you hard going to prison. It does not make you hard getting locked up. It does not make you a man or a black man or I'm in the hood. This is my purpose. No, that does not define you. Try your best to stay out the system. And if you find yourself in the system, rethink your mind process so you'll never be systemized. The devil has a plan to lock you up, to stick you in the system. But one story I love in the Bible, check it out when you get a chance. Daniel and his 3 friends. They kept it real for real. And they became more intelligent and stronger and wiser and more gifted than all the boys in the hood, because in their mind, they made their minds up. We're going somewhere, and where we're going will not be stuck on this corner. Where we're going will not be stuck in his hood mindset. So these 4 boys, Daniel and his 3 friends, came together and encouraged one another, motivated one another. Make sure you surround yourself with the right kind of friends. Make sure your friends are going where you're going. Make sure your friends are going somewhere. If your friends don't have a dream, don't have a vision, haven't identified themselves, if your friends cuss their mama out, stop being that guy's friends. If your friends are wanting to thug out and hang out and bang out, find some new friends. Those friendships will only end you up in the penitentiary or the grave. These boys encourage one another to be the best they can be. And when they test them out, they tested higher than all the other boys in the hood. So make sure you become the greatest support system in your life. If you're talented, stand. If you're a young man and you believe you're talented, stand up real quick. I'm doing a survey real quick. You call yourself talented, stand up. Okay. Sit down. Thank you. If you think you're hard to defeat, that no matter what life throws at you, you're hard to defeat, stand up again. You're hard to defeat. You're not going to just roll over and play dead. You're hard to defeat. Have a seat. Thank you. Taking a quick survey. I'm surveying the crowd. You're unique. You have a unique gift. You're unique. You're unique. You're unique. Or you're sometimes misunderstood. You're sometimes identified as an underdog. Is that your story? You're unique. You're not trying to be like everybody else. You're unique. You know you have giftedness. You know you're talented. You know you have purpose. And you're going to operate in your uniqueness. If you know you're a unique individual, please stand. Okay, good. Okay, one more time. Sit down. You're gifted. You're gifted. You identify yourself. When you look in the mirror, you say, I'm gifted. Stand up. Okay, cool. Okay, now sit down for again. Okay. Now, if you stood up on all 4, stand up. You got a little thug in you. You're talented. You're hard to defeat. You're unique, and you're gifted. You got a little thug in you. But the thug they want you to act like is a criminal. It's a mischief. But the thug in you allows you to be the best you can be because you are talented. You are hard to defeat. you're unique, and you're gifted. And you're going to take that energy, and you're going to go farther than you've ever gone before. You're going to take that energy. You're going to take that thug inside of you. You're going to take back that definition, and you're going to tell the enemy what the devil meant for bad, my God's going to turn around for good. For a matter of fact, you're not just a thug, you're a thug that cares. So watch this. You're a thug that cares. Put my definition of cares up real quick. C. I like words and breaking them down so you can leave with an understanding. C-A-R-E-S, cares. You're a thug that cares. It's C, courage, to be yourself. OG1. Stand up real quick for me. On a racial percentage, how many young men get locked up not because they were bad, they were trying to fit in? You must have the courage to be yourself. Brother Derek and I, we joked that the passenger seat in our cars are filled with stuff, books and folders and tablets, because we know how to roll by ourselves. And whenever we ride together, we just throw the stuff in the back seat and keep rolling, because we don't need a crowd or the approval of the group to move forward. Many get messed up because they're trying to fit in with the crowd instead of having the courage to be who you are. Cares, C-A-R-E-S. An attitude, the A stands for attitude, that you cannot be denied. An attitude, not a negative attitude, but an attitude that I cannot be defeated. An attitude, if I get knocked down, I'm getting back up again. An attitude that the gift God gave me, I'm not going to waste it, but I'm going to make every day count. And anybody here got an attitude? Now, you've been told, well, you got an attitude. Well, reverse that attitude from bad to attitude. I cannot be defeated. Aura, respect others and yourself. If you really want to upset me, let me hear a young man disrespect his mother. I promise you, you will not go very far disrespecting your mother. I'll never forget this image. It was at one of the other black male summits, and I think it was OG1, or he was either Slim. They gave an illustration about a young man who had disrespected their mother, and then he showed another picture, and the young man's brains got blown out. Forgot which one it was. One you gave an illustration at one of the black male summits. When you disrespect your mother, you are setting yourself up for the devil to come, kill, steal, and destroy. You must learn how to respect your elders, how to respect your parents, and how to respect yourself. A disrespectful child is respect. Then the E in cares, effort. Effort. You must put in the effort. Now, they said earlier, prayer without works is dead. The Bible says faith without works is dead, which means I got to get up every day and give life the effort. I got to make sure I'm busting my butt so I won't get knocked on my butt. I got to give life the effort. I'm not entitled. I'm not privileged. No one owes me anything. I got to give every day and give myself and my universe an effort that will be the best I can be. He didn't make it to become a pilot by being lazy, by being a sluggard, by being a procrastinator or an excuse maker. He made it because he had effort. It takes effort to win. It takes effort to succeed. It takes effort to go forward. If you don't give life an effort, you will not discover the abundance of life. That's why I say effort. And then the S. Strong. Strong enough not to ever quit. Strong enough not to ever quit. Now, real quick story. When I first got to this building 5 years ago, it was an old Kroger's building. It was boarded up and locked up. And the first time I inquired about it, they told me it was $30,000 a month just to rent. 30 G's, $30,000 a month just to rent. I hung the phone up. But before I left the parking, I called them back, set a meeting up, began to negotiate on this building. And one of the very first people I walked through those wooden doors was Brother Derek Muhammad. And we walked in. I shared the vision with him. I said, I'm getting ready to jump out deep in the deep. I got to either sink or swim. But I will not stop. And then Hurricane Harvey came, and Brother Derek and I teamed up, and we served the community. And then this thing happened where we got in financial trouble at the church. And we got a real life eviction notice served by a real law enforcement. Pastor, y'all got to go. Remember the S, strong enough never to quit. I told the mortgage company, I told the law enforcement, I said, I'm not leaving. Say, but sir, you got to go. I said, I'm not leaving. God sent me there, and God is going to make a way. So whatever God doing right now in this part of the story, I'm going to just watch it unfold. So for a matter of fact, give me 5 minutes, let me call a news media, let me go grab a chain, I'm going to chain myself to the building, I'm going to put it on TV so then America will start sending me money to save the building. I said, nah, Pastor, we can't do that. I said, well, get out then. Fast forward the clock, we still here. Fast forward the clock a little farther, on Good Friday of this year, we're not just buying the church, we're buying the whole block. What you don't understand is when you give life an effort, life in return will give you a reward. Let's all stand one more time. Yeah, I ran in here late because I just did another funeral, and every Saturday, funeral after funeral. While you're standing, a real quick story, how we got here before I told you about when we got here. 2016, I think it was. In this community, I buried 17 people under the age of 40, all murdered, in a 10 to 20 minute radius from here. So I kept ending up in Greens Point. They was called it Guns Point then. I kept ending up here burying young people. I was on a family vacation one, and they called me and said 3 young people just got murdered. Arbor Court down the street. A young girl, 17 years old, was shot over 30-something times at close range. 2 18-year-old males. So I did the funerals, and they all had on T-shirts. Rest in peace. They would bleed them out. And I said, God, I want to do more than just preach funerals. I want to turn this thing around. At the 17-year-old girl's funeral, now imagine, 17-year-old female shot over 30 times, close range. The only tears shed was her mother and the mother of her boyfriend. Church was packed. I said, how can people not be emotionally overwhelmed? One young girl gave her remark. She says, I'm not going to cry. I'm too hard to cry. 17-year-old murdered. I said, God, that's a problem in our community. Use me to help solve it. And that's what got us here, because of that drive to want to turn God's point into God's point. So that's what got us here. Now, unfortunately, the city of Houston, Harris County is #1 in murders. So I want us to do this together. Repeat after me. Stop the violence pledge. Come on, everybody. Stop the violence pledge. #1, I pledge to become and remain my brother and sister's keeper. #2, I pledge to protect my community. #3, I pledge to seek peace within my community. #4, I pledge to raise the standards of living in my community and promote peace and unity. #5, I pledge to get involved with the youth in my community and empower them to become seekers of peace. #6, I pledge to connect with my neighbors and rebuild my neighborhood. Number 7, I pledge to report, hear me, I pledge to report all acts of violence and illegal activity in my community. Now, before you say, I'm not a snitch, no, you a thug that cares. God bless you, my brother.
Come on, let's give it up again for Pastor E.A. Deckard. Again, dear brother, thank you so much for allowing us to use this beautiful facility. We're about to close out now, but before we do, we would like to have our presenters to come to the stage real quick. Silky Slim, is he here? Can you come up here, my brother? Come on, you're moving kind of slow, bro. Put some pep in your step. Let's give Silky Slim a round of applause. My brother, OG1, Captain Donald, Pastor E.A. Deckard, could you please come to the stage? Does anybody have any questions for these brothers? We will take 5 to 10 minutes worth of questions. Excuse me, brothers, step up closer to the, come on up here so the people can see you. Does anyone have any questions? And can we get an extra microphone out here?
Got it right here.
For questions. Does anybody have any questions for any of these brothers? Any comments you want to make? Just raise your hand. There's a brother right over here. Questions?
Hello, how you doing? My name is Stephen Norton. I'm a friend of Derek Muhammad and Pastor Deckard. I think it's a great thing they're doing today, and I appreciate them inviting us out. But what I want to ask this question here is, and I've been struggling with y'all said about getting to where you want to get. I do music, and I'm doing a lot of things. I'm trying to change my life. I've been in the penitentiary for 2 crimes that I didn't commit, really, that I'm trying to get off my record. But to make a long story short, I want to say that I've been through the system of injustice. A lot of people don't really know what I've been through drugs, crack, and all that. So I'm asking y'all, what could y'all do? I'm asking y'all, as the brothers up there on the stage, is what can I do to help y'all help somebody else too myself? Because that's the main thing I want to do. If you really look at my post, my face, people don't really know my name. Testify, a.k.a. Black Santa Claus. That is my handle. If you look at that name, it's TSDAPHIRE. Testify, because in this life, your faith will be tested by fire. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to move forward with some positive message in this music and do something positive. And I ask y'all, brothers, how can I get with this program to be able to help more, man? Because if you help more, because they say the more, if you put in something good, you can't get nothing but good come back to you. So that's what I want to do. I want to be able to change some lives, man. That's what it is.
I would answer that and say, first, it starts with your faith. And once you identify that you have faith, then there's 2 C's you must commit. First, commit and be consistent in your commitment. So you have to have faith to be consistent in your commitment, and then God will bring in your universe every resource and every person you need to be connected with. Brother Derek and I did not go out looking for each other, but God had a divine plan to bring us together. And once we came together, we can not talk for 2 or 3 weeks and then talk, and we finish the other sentences off because it's divine purpose. Find your divine group that God will have you motivate and stimulate. And I promise you, faith, consistency, and commitment, and then God will send everything you need in your life.
Yeah, beautiful answer. Beautiful answer. We'll take 2 more questions. Now remember, this is the opportunity to ask this particular group of men questions. May or may not come again. Does anyone have any questions that they want to ask? There's no such thing as a dumb question.
Sergeant Donnie from the Sheriff's Department, ask a question. Sergeant, thanks for being here, representing law enforcement, African-American law enforcement. Ask a question.
Well, thank you, Pastor. I appreciate that. It's not really a question. The most positive thing I come from this is visual. You see black men together positive is good enough for me. Not just what kind of career you have, but seeing black men together positive without my pants hacking off the back of my behind and without trying to sell a barbecue sandwich. But that's the only thing that pretty much I have. And I also want to commend one of my other mentors here, Dr. Lewis from ACC, and the
Brother
also from
Desmond.
ACC.
Thank you for being here, my brother. Let's give him a round of applause. So since we don't,
No question, though. Ask a question. Follow order. Ask a question.
What's your, can I pass the mic? Brother, no, Lewis, you have a question?
My only question is, what's the next step? When we start thinking about solutions and we think about, when we think about the community and we think about education and we think about the opportunities that are here, how can we better leverage those opportunities to ensure that the impact is sustainable? So it's not just a question for the gentleman on the stage, but it's a question for everyone in here. But I do pose that question to you gentlemen on the stage, especially the brother that's the pilot. I too graduated from TSU. So, what are some of the solutions that we can begin to impart upon our communities at this time to begin that sustainable change?
man, that's a perfect question. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand the microphone, starting with Captain Donald, and I want to give everybody an opportunity to answer that question and also give their closing remarks. What's the next step? What are some of the solutions? Great question, Brother Desmond. Brother Donald.
I know. The next step and solution is good leadership. Good leadership. And we have great leaders here. So you find somebody, because I don't have the answer, because I follow a man. And so from his guidance is where I am today.
I think the leadership was the best answer, but at the end of the day, I think we all have to create something that's tangible for these young men to see. Our organization actually writ curriculums for schools, and you can't let anybody kill your dream. When we came out with our curriculum, I let a teacher look through it. She said, they're not going to accept this. This is like speaking Ebonics. I was like, well, this is what the kids need because we're speaking in their language. And we took it to the school board, and the school board asked us one question: where have y'all been? So never let anybody kill your dreams. I just think we have to create tangible things. And if we had let somebody else tell us just because she was a teacher, because we have those hidden devils everywhere that don't believe in what we can do, then we have to just keep moving. And one thing that I'm gonna tell you young men, and I'm gonna be through with this, and for those that ask the questions about the solutions, we have a very bad habit of going look everywhere for things to solve our problems except looking within ourselves. We'll walk over diamonds, rubies, pearls, and go to another community and come back with a damn rock and say, look at this rock. We walked over all kind of valuable jewels right in our front yard. The answer to our problems is right here in this room. It's within us, and we just have to sit down and bring it out of us.
I'm gonna say this here. In the study have been done that, like I started by saying, just a few people in our neighborhoods are causing the problems in our neighborhood. So we need to focus on those few when we know that 80% of the brothers that's incarcerated in Texas suffer from dyslexia, a reading disorder. They was the one that was kicked out, that was in your CPs, the one that went to school, the prison pipeline. When I was in prison, I did a lot of letter writing for brothers once I learned how to read and write. So until we deal with the issues that brothers don't have a problem with dealing with reading issues, and they bring those same issues back to the community, and what they do. When a brother is shamed and embarrassed and not willing to open up about that's a serious defect in a man. When you got to ask him, can you read and write? So if we know that 80% of the brothers that's incarcerated have a reading problem and can't read and write, we got to tack it down and start there and change their mindset. Once a brother can read, he can fill out an application. So that is the issue that we have, because we got to quit making that our community and the black community that the majority of us is criminals. No, the majority of our community is not criminals. It's just a few that we got to tackle and deal with them on that level now. So that's where I'm at when it comes to dealing with that education, brother.
I love OG because he always sparks something up. Me and him got those penitentiary stories, and when he said that he was writing, I know a brother, and it just sparked a spark in me. Brothers, it's important to learn how to read and write, because I know a brother that was writing letters to another brother's wife, and that brother today is married to the woman who he was writing to. So that sparked the story in me when he said that, man.
What illustration? What illustration? Jim, if you will, help me close out my point. If you will face this direction, please. So my answer is twofold. The first is relationship. So every brother needs to have someone he's looking from. So you are the beacon of light, and we are following you. So every brother needs a brother in front of him that he can glean from, he can go to calm him down, to silence him down, and to build him up. So you are the light that we all look to build us up. Now here, this relationship is every brother needs a brother. Iron sharpens iron. We go crazy if we have nobody to talk to. We go, when you said about 4 years of isolation, talking to yourself only, I'm sure mentally that wore you out more than physically. We all need somebody we can walk with and talk to. And then we need to all have somebody behind us that looking to us. So the reason we're not going to fall, because we fall, we're going to cripple him. The reason you're not going to fall, because you're looking to us for strength, and we're looking to him for strength. So every man needs someone there gaining wisdom from, sharing wisdom with, and pouring wisdom down into. That gives a man balance. Then my second point of what's needed, do something. Let's listen. No more excuses. Do something. I think, I'm the smallest man up here. If you drive around in a 10, 20-mile radius, you will see businesses with chain link fence around them. I love chain link fence. Chain link fence around them saying, brother, you've been doing bad business in my community. You can no longer operate. And chain their fence up and stop them from doing bad business. The guy said, well, man, you can't do that. This is illegal. I said, well, call the law. And to this day, they still boarded up. We find out where a crack house at, the little preacher go knock on the door and say, you got 30 days. On day 31, you're going to get evicted. Well, you can't do that. They are all around this community what used to be crack houses are now shut down. Because do something. So they say, well, you're going to get killed. You're not scared of dying? I said, no, I'm not scared of dying. I'm scared of living without making an impact.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Hey, Brother Steve Norton, could you please come up here on the stage with us? Because our brother over there pacing back and forth, he's so full of the Spirit. He ready to work right now. Brother, come up here with us. Just as a show, you asked, how can you join? Just join. Just join. Let's give Brother Steve a round of applause. I also want to acknowledge Brother Abdul Halim Muhammad, who is the Southwest Regional Student Minister of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I'd love to ask him to come up here, but okay, I got you. Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum. And we also have my brother who is a longtime supporter and volunteer at the Black Male Summit, Brother Chris Watson, who's actually running for Justice of the Peace in this area. Let's give it up for Brother Chris Watson. Make sure you go out and vote for the brother. Brother Desmond, you asked the question, what is the solution? There are many solutions, and I agree with everything that every last one of these brothers said, especially what Brother Pastor Deckard said. You have to do something. The solution is inside of you. You see, you can find a seed. I learned this from Silky Slim. You can find a seed in the forest. But guess what? A whole nother forest is actually inside of the seed. The seed just has to be planted, watered, and developed properly. So every last one of us is like a seed full of potential. So the first thing you have to ask yourself is this question: what am I doing to make my community a better place? And if every last one of us asked that question, and if every last one of us got up and acted to do our part, then our problems would be solved overnight. So the answer is the answer that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave. He said that 90% of our problems could be solved if we would just work together in unity, collectively. Our economic problems solved if we work together. Political problems solved if we work together. So let's make a pledge to tear down all of the false walls, the religious walls, the philosophical walls. You live on the south side, I live on the north side. All of these false barriers that our colonizers gave to us to keep us divided, once those disappear, problems solved. I love you, brothers and sisters. Thank you. Take care. Thank you for attending. And we would... Sir? That's what I was about to do. We're about to close out. Anyone who has a question at this point, feel free to approach us one-on-one. We want to ask everybody, get you a photo in front of the banner in the back. And we have 100 meals that were donated to us by T's Youth, our people out of Miami. Let's give them a round of applause. From a black-owned catering company owned by Sister Chandra Muhammad. You got to take some of this food. The T-shirts are free. The hoodies are free. We've got backpacks over there that all belongs to you. So do not leave here without taking any and everything that you want. It's all yours. So we want to bring to the microphone my brother, a brother who greatly inspires me. He's going to have a few words for, please. I'm saying have a few words because I want you to say something. I don't want you to just come pray us out. He's going to have a few words, and then he's going to close us out in prayer. This is my dear brother, Pastor Jamel Johnson. Let's give it up for him.
Appreciate you, sir. All right, so it's 3:20. I'll be through at 3:25 with my prayer. One thing that I want to say, this man right here, Pastor Deckard, has been an influence in my life since I was a young kid. I remember him telling me this at 17 years old. He said, Jamel, you got a lot of potential. Look me square in my face. I've always been this height, and when I met him, he was that height. I hit my growth spurt. I was 6'4" at BCL Moore. He said, Jamel, you have a lot of potential. I was 17. He said, but if I come back at 40 and tell you that you have a lot of potential, you wasted 23 years. He said, don't waste your time. That speaks louder today than it did then, some 24 years ago. When I look back at, I believe, my favorite basketball player, Kobe Bryant, and one of his last statements that was quoted is, one of the most dangerous things that we believe that we have is time. Right now is the best time for you to do something with the time that you have. I said this at the last Black Male Summit, and I'll say this again. I probably say this every time that I get. 67% of CEOs in America are 6 feet and above. 67% of CEOs in America are 6 feet and above. When they see us in the hood and we 6 feet and above, they want to put a football or basketball in our hands. When they see them 6 feet and above, they are the next CEOs of Microsoft, of Dell, of Wells Fargo. I think all we need to do is flip the switch, because it's a lot of us who are 6 feet that when we couldn't go past high school, we are now in the hood being 6 feet drug dealers, which ends up having us 6 feet deep. So today I want to challenge everybody that's here to look within inside you, and whatever that is. I happened to be at an event last night, and through a lot of pushing, there are now going to be scholarships that are going to be awarded to kids who decide to go to either trade schools or decide to go to 2-year colleges, because everybody is not going to a 4-year institution, and I got that. But we fought to ensure that some boys who want to go and learn HVAC, to be plumbers, can get money to have these trades paid for so they can come out and be contributing factors into the world. So that's your answer, my brother. Economic stability. There are so many amazing young men that are standing out on the corner because to take powder to a rock, that's a chemical equation. If you don't know what you're doing, you'll blow something up. That's a pharmacist that's standing on that corner, but they don't know how to do the math. The time that they spend in the trap house, it's somebody that's working at McDonald's that per hour is really making more money than they are. But nobody has really pulled them aside and told them that if you really focus your money and focus your time on really what you want to do, that you can have a successful life. There are plumbers that are making six figures. Stay in the city of Houston. There are HVAC workers that are making six figures. But the thing about it is we have been told to look for the sexy professions, the things that we can post on Instagram. How many times have you seen a plumber bent over a toilet and somebody's taking a picture of him and somebody using hashtag goals? But if you follow him to the bank and you look at his income, that's goals. So I really just want you to tap into who you are and be you unapologetically. The same thing that Pastor Deckard said, be you unapologetically. And I want to pray for you all. I want everybody to come up. But what I want to do is I want the youngest to be up front. So if you are 18 and under, I want you to be up front. And everybody that's behind 18, I want you to stand behind them. If everybody can come up here in this area right here, if y'all don't mind, I appreciate you. And we can spread out. I know COVID is still out in these streets. We don't necessarily have to be next to each other. But I really want you all to see something. I want those that are 18 and younger to be up front, and I want those that are 18 and older or 19 and older to be behind, because I want everybody that's 18 and younger to see what Pastor Deckard said, that you got somebody that's behind you that's older that will be behind you, that will support you, that will push you. That's one of the things that has plagued the African American community, is that we're always telling our brothers, you got to get it out the mud. You got to get it how you live. Man, I had to struggle. You got to struggle too. And every community that I have had the opportunity to work with, they have a succession plan. It's no kid that's out here in the streets trying to figure it out in a Jewish home. They don't even leave the house. They stay in the house. We're kicking our kids out at 18 years old saying if you don't get out of this house, you're going to have to pay a bill or you got to go. And they were just 17 skipping third period last week. It's about us making sure that we can cancel out what we are still living through. And right now, it's sad to say, but we are only 2 generations away from the plantation. And many of us are still walking around and living as if we are in slavery. Today, I want to pray that the chains are off of these young men, but more so, I want them to be able to see chains freed off of us behind them. I want to pray for our freedom. I want to pray for our advancement. I want to pray that we will not continue to be on the back, but we will move to the front. There are some amazing changes that's happening in the city of Houston, and I want y'all to be on the front line. Tech is about to take over the oil and gas vibe that was in Houston. And I don't want us to be left behind again. So I want to pray for your future. I want to pray that we move forward and that 10 years, 15 years from now, when we are older and grayer, you all are pushing this. And you all are telling the next generation to do as I do. I'm a part of the 100 Black Men of America, our Houston chapter. But our slogan is what they see is what they'll be. And I want to challenge each one of you all to be the change. Because some of you all may have a little brother that's in the house that need to look to you. You have a little cousin that needs to look to you. And if they can see you succeeding, they will have the blueprint of what success looks like. But then that mantle comes on us too. We have the responsibility to be what they need to see so they can be able to look behind them and say they did it and so can I. All right. So we're bowing, we're praying, we're getting out of here. I'm not going to be long. I'm always the pastor that they ask to pray over the food because they know that the food's still going to be hot when I get through. So, God, we thank you, God, for this day. I thank you for my brother, Derek. I thank you for the vision that you have given him. I thank you, God, for allowing him to pour and have the desire to pour into generations of young African-American men to ensure that the stories of old will not continue to be the stories of today, nor be the stories of tomorrow, but that we will shift the narrative and that what has been written or what has been said or even what has been believed is a lie. We are kings. We are warriors. We are you because we were created in your image. We are walking with God-like thoughts, God-like ideas, God-like speech. And I thank you for using Brother Derek to tap into some of these young men who may have had their God-like identity quieted, but they are now roaring with power. I thank you, God, for the young men that are here today, all of the men that are here today, even our sisters that are here with us, that have come because they knew that there was going to be something that was said. And I thank you, God, for every presenter that gave of their time, that gave their testimony, because we overcome because of testimonies. And I'm thankful today that we have heard something from them that will impact our lives for generations to come. But God, I ask, God, that you would protect these young men. The streets of Houston are still taking our babies away from us. There's still bloodshed in the streets. There's still an undercurrent, a demonic undercurrent that's making our young men feel like that if they take the life of another young man, that they get some type of credibility. But God, I'm asking you now, God, to use these young men to change the narrative that taking a life will not give you credibility, but giving life back is what will give you the credibility. Let us be light bearers to go back into our communities, and every dark area now becomes lit and stays lit. Use these young men to be beacon of lights, even in their homes, in their communities, in their schools. Let them be the change agents that we need, so that in the years to come, we will be able to see these young men step up and to be our next teachers, our next lawyers, our next doctors, our next government officials, to be our next leaders. But let them begin to do it now. Protect their lives. I come against any demonic plan, any assault on their lives that maybe we don't see or they don't even see. I ask that you protect them, protect their environment. Allow them to only be around people that will pour into them and grow them up and make investments in them and not withdrawals. I'm asking you, God, that even if there are knuckleheads around them that's trying to persuade them to be something other than what you have called them to be, allow the Joshuas in them to arise. Allow the King Davids and the King Solomons in them to arise so they can even change those that are trying to change them. All it took was for one years ago to help us march across the Red Sea. All it took was one to lead us around the walls of Jericho. All it took was one to lead us on the path across the Pettis Bridge to get us through Selma. All it took was one. And I thank you, God, that the one that we need has been impacted through this time with us today. As we leave, God, I pray that you would give us traveling grace. I pray that you would bind all type of mechanical malfunctions and car accidents. And as always, God, keep the popos where they are. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. God bless you.